Once upon a time, in a small village named Abagana, there lived a couple who had only one child. They loved him dearly and gave him everything he asked for. This is because it took them years to have him after several miscarriages and stillbirths. So, when he was born, they named him Obielue, which means in full Obielue man. This can be translated as now my mind is at rest. They never denied Obialue anything. All his requests were granted immediately. He was never spoken to harshly nor corrected when he does anything wrong. His parents won't even allow anybody to scold him. He will always have the best toys and clothes, and his parents will do anything to please him. Soon afterwards, the boy became very arrogant and mischievous, and nobody in the village liked him. The boy would tease the other children, destroy their toys, and even hit them. But his parents would never scold him for his behavior. They would always protect him, saying that he was just a child and didn't know what he did. One day, the boy's parents went on a trip, leaving him alone in the house with his nanny, Ihuoma. Obielue, in his parents' absence, continued to request for everything that comes to his mind. Just anything that comes to his mind, he would ask for it. The nanny would give it to him because she wouldn't want to refuse him anything. When the parents were leaving, they cautioned her about denying the boy anything he asked for. In fact, in their own words, this boy must not cry. They echoed to the nanny's ear as they were leaving, and the boy heard everything. So he took advantage of this warning and was asking for just anything that would come to his mind. 2 days later, after his parents traveled, Obielue started making unnecessary demands, asking for things from the nanny. He was just asking for anything, things that are not reasonable. The nanny gave him everything he asked for until he asked the nanny to allow him eat his own feces. The nanny, Ihuoma, couldn't believe her ears. She refused him that, knowing that it is not good for him. However, Obielue continued to request that he wants to taste his own feces. He started throwing tantrums and shouting, yelling on top of his voices, and the nanny was scared. When Ihuoma the nanny remembered that his parents warned that he should never be denied anything or allowed to cry, at the thought of losing her job if the parents learned that he was crying, she decided to allow him have his way and allowed him to eat his own feces. Immediately after eating the feces, Obielue started throwing up and was screaming, "My stomach! My stomach!" The nanny, Ihuoma, did not know what to do as she was not prepared for this. As she was still in the state of confusion, she heard a knock on the door. She opened the door and lo and behold, a wise old man appeared at the boy's doorstep. The nanny was surprised to see him and asked him who he was.
"I am a wise old man. I have a message for your master,"
said the old man. "My master is not around. He traveled with his wife a couple of days ago and I don't know when they will return," replied Ihuoma. "What's the problem?" asked the wise man as he noticed the nanny was fidgety and worried. The nanny explained to him what has happened to Obielue, the only child of her master. At this juncture, he asked to be let in to see the boy, and the nanny allowed him. Inside the living room, he saw the boy lying on the floor crying, "My stomach,
my stomach, my stomach."
The wise man asked him why he wanted to eat his feces, and he couldn't explain. The pain grew worse and became so excruciating, and he thought he was going to die. The wise man asked Obi again if he wanted to die, and he said no. At this point, he started pleading with the old man to help him if he could, making so many promises about changing his behavior. He also promised never to be naughty again in his life. He was in so much pain that he was making so much promises, and even the nanny was scared that he may pass on. The old man looked at him and had pity on him. He decided to help him, but on the following conditions. Number 1, he had to vow never to demand for anything. Number 2, he will always accept what is offered that is available. And number 3, that he will keep what happened a secret forever. That means that he is not allowed to tell the parents what happened to him on their return. The boy, Obielue, did not hesitate to make the vow. After that, the old man gave him a liquid to drink, which he brought out from his bag. As soon as Obielue drank the liquid, his pain disappeared instantly and he got up. The old wise man told him that he is the spirit of his grandfather and that he was the one who manipulated him to demand for feces so that he can learn his lessons, since his parents failed in bringing him up properly. He warned him again never to reveal what happened to his parents, and immediately he vanished into thin air. At the end of the boy was scared, but he knew he had to do what the old man said. At the end of the day, the boy Obielue learned his lessons. He realized that his parents were overpampering him and that had spoiled him as a child. He then understood that giving him everything he needed or he asked for wasn't a show of true love, and he had to change his ways. When Obielue's parents returned from their trip, they were surprised to see the change in their son. They asked what happened to him, but he remained adamant and never revealed his little secret to them, just as the old man warned. His parents were, however, happy and proud of him for his change of behavior. From that day onwards, the boy became a better person. He stopped his tantrum and became so humble and never asked for things that were not available. Even when he was asked to make his choice, he always responds by saying, "Give me what is available." He later grew up into a very humble and respectful adult, and everyone in the village loved him. The moral lesson from this story is for parents to learn that giving their children everything they ask for is not a show of true love. Drop other lessons you have learned in the comment section, and don't forget to like this video and also subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so. Bye bye. See you again in my next story.